Well, thanks for coming out tonight and just discussing what we're excited about as we look at this new expansion for Linwood Baptist Church. And we just believe that God's going to do wonderful and great things. But we brought you here because we want to hear what you're excited about, what you think about it, and what you believe the Lord's going to do in ministry as we move along with this.
I'm excited about the stairs because
Yeah.
we always are single file, and I'm trying to not have my children plow anyone down going up or down the stairs. So to just have those big welcoming stairs for people to use, I think is really just when you first walk in going to be really nice.
So thinking of younger families with children, or maybe those who are serving in children's ministry, when we look at the building expansion, what excites you, but what do you think will help in regards to ministry and serving those families better?
I think that's one thing that brought us here was the children's ministry, and just, it would add opportunity for growth and being able to have more room for young families to be able to come here and start and grow. Definitely would help.
I think even for footprints in LCA, like if the weather was bad or if it was too cold outside, but they still need recess time. Mm-hmm. So then to go to the gym and still get that energy out and not just skip recess,
Right.
or try to do something in a small room, and, they need space to run and play.
And hopefully it'll allow us to be able to host sporting events and just community events to get people in the building who wouldn't typically come, check us out and maybe start coming on Sunday or Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
I think just one thing to always remember too is it's the people that make the building, not the building that make the people.
That's right.
And so I think that when they see that we are working on this and they ask us, are you guys just trying to be, some big church, you just want to impress people? Mm-hmm. We have the opportunity to show them we are already a close-knit community. We are people who know each other and try to serve with each other. And we may not see each other every Sunday, and we may not be the best friends, but we do work together, and we go to the same church, and we serve the same God. And so I feel like with people coming and seeing this outreach, even if they come and it's impressive visually and it's impressive with the space that we have, I think just one thing to be reminded of is the people that are there, because we're going to be ultimately what encourages them to come back. And so we are not just doing this. I think one of the big words that they used when they first announced it was talking about it being multi-purpose.
That's right.
This isn't just something that kids can just come and play in, although it does serve in that capacity. It is so that we can reach other people, and so that people will be, when we do invite them, they'll be encouraged to come, and they'll be encouraged to, most importantly, come back. Because not only do we have the space for them physically, we have the space for them emotionally, mentally, and most importantly, spiritually. So.
Amen. It's a sometimes meeting the felt need, right? People may be looking to come to say, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm interested in it. My kids want to have fun, and not that those things are bad. It's fine, but it's really drawing them in and saying, hey, we have the words of life. Hey, we have Jesus that we want to introduce you to. We have a body of believers here that wants to love you and to support you and care for you. And ultimately, right, as we're looking at this building expansion, it's not just to say, hey, look how great Linwood is, right? Look how great we are that we can build this Tower of Babel. That's not the goal, right? Instead, it's to say, no, we're using this as a ministry opportunity to introduce people to the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I think this building really helps us in that. But Brady, as you said, it's the people here who make that happen, right? You can build the greatest building, but that's ultimately not what's bringing people to Christ. It's those who are inside of it. So all of us came to Linwood for different reasons. The Lord brought us here at different times. Some of us may have been born into the church. Others of us may have come for maybe a different ministry or because we were invited. Tell me something that brought you to Linwood, and then something you're hoping that maybe new families, people in our community can experience that maybe even this building helps with.
For me, I came to Linwood as a college student. I remember Super Bowl Sunday of 2017. I remember it because Ryan and Whitney Manerman made me throw a football into a trash can, and it did not work very well. But so I came because I was seeking community of people my age. I grew up in a small town. I didn't have a good church community that was people my age. So I came seeking community, and I've stayed ever since. I serve in kids ministry. I help with the student ministry. I think it's just, I kind of grew with the church. I grew out of the college ministry, but now I'm more involved in like the adult ministry, the young pros ministry. So I think Linwood sets families up for just growth with the church. Like you start off, as a baby in the nursery, with Miss Tammy and Miss Brandy, those who have been here for a long time, and you gradually grow up.
Ben and I moved here from Indiana, and we did not know anybody. But we were drawn to Linwood because they had all of the opportunities for our kids, and we found a life group with people our age, kind of in the same season of life, and we needed friends. And so it was a great place for us to make those connections.
We came from a small little church and we didn't even have a youth group. Like the three of us were the youth group. So I think that was a big draw for us, for me to get into college ministry and for my brother and sister to get in the youth group. And then just I feel like my faith developed just getting into the college ministry because I didn't realize that I was missing out on, going through youth ministry and going through all of that, with just the church not having that where we moved from. And then I met Caleb in the college ministry. And so then, we started dating, got married, and now we're raising a family. We have a baby, and so we're in a life group that meets off campus currently, but just with a lot of young families. And so it's just nice to have like groups that go through the same season of life.
I've grown up in Linwood. I've been a part of Linwood my entire life. I've not been involved in really any other church. And just to think about, like, I remember whenever the current building was added on to add the youth room, the church offices, more classroom space, and just to think about, like, another building expansion and looking back on the different ministry events that I was a part of, all the kids ministry events. I'm just excited for our son, Henry, to now be able to be involved in the children's ministry, and just to see how the new space could just even further the capacity and the magnitude of the ministry events that we can have.
One of the newer ministries of Linwood is, of course, Linwood Christian Academy, and seeing how God's been working there, using that school in our community. That is the reason that my family and I came here, as I serve as the head of school at Linwood Christian Academy. But that ministry has been a huge blessing to my family and to my children. They came out of a tough schooling situation where we were prior, and I remember my children got here and they were like, "Is this heaven?" They couldn't believe how great it was, and it had nothing to do with me. I hadn't even been here. And just seeing how God has worked in all the ministries of Linwood, and now He ties those together. Recently we've had some students from LCA who are also part of Linwood Church and the children's ministry, come to know Christ, be baptized. And you're seeing how God uses all of our ministries to tie things together, right? And how, LCA is a ministry that reaches out to the community in other ways, right? Because you may have families that they have no desire to come to Linwood Church, right? But they also want good education for their children. And they say, "Hey, let's give it a shot." And then all of a sudden they say, "Hey, I really like this place. Maybe we should come on a Sunday morning," right? Or maybe we should come on a Wednesday night. And we've seen families start to do that and start to get involved in the church through the ministry of Linwood Christian Academy. And of course, the building, as we're looking at that, we're saying, hey, there's a lot of blessings for the school, and now it can continue to grow and reach out into the community with Christian education. Because that is the goal of the school, right? Our slogan is partnering with families to train champions for Christ. That's what we want to see. And we say, how does this building expansion do that? Well, we've already talked about a lot of those ways, with a gym, with a commons cafeteria area, with new classrooms. But then seeing, as Brady, you said earlier, multi-purpose, right? There is nothing that we're doing in this building that says this is only used, at this time and only here, right? There may be some more specialized areas, but we're saying we want to use all of these things for the glory of God and to reach out to our community and see people come to know Christ and to disciple those who are within our family, right? Those are the things that we want to see, that we want to experience. And I truly believe that all of our ministries are going to benefit immensely, from our young families to our middle-aged families up to our older generation who's here, who has done so much and sacrificed so much for this church to be where it is, and to see how God has used them, and we can now look towards that future and say, hey, what is God going to continue to do here? And how can we jump in? How can we be a part of that? And I know that I'm very excited about that. and to see what the Lord's going to do. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for coming out and just talking with us a little bit about what you're excited about for the new building and what we believe the vision is for what God's called us to do here at Linwood. And I do truly believe that the best days are ahead. And so appreciate you coming out, sharing what you believe God's laid on your heart. I'm looking forward to all that God's going to do.